Alright, in today's video I'm going to share 10 of my favorite JRPGs for the PSP. Now the PlayStation Portable was a fantastic handheld system and is probably up there as one of my favorite portable systems out there, alongside with the Nintendo DS of course. It had plenty of awesome JRPGs and I also remember using the PSP as a way of playing PS1 games that I missed out on, but that is an entirely different topic. Anyways, this is my top 10 PSP JRPG list, and if you have other PSP JRPGs you want to highlight, then let me know in the comment section. Alright, first up we have Final Fantasy IV, the Complete Collection. Now the Complete Collection is an enhanced port of the classic Final Fantasy IV, which was also bundled with the sequel called the After Years. Although for this list I'm mainly going to talk about Final Fantasy IV. And as you guys can probably tell by now, there are a lot of versions of Final Fantasy IV out there, but out of all the versions that I've played, I do find this port to be the best looking one. It has updated 2D graphics that still looks good to this day. I would even go as far as to say that this version looks better than the pixel remastered version of Final Fantasy IV that came out last year. Now the Complete Collection is based on the GBA version and it also retains all the extra features from that version, as well as some bug fixes. Although I wish they would have included some of the new features that were introduced in the Nintendo DS remake, like the harder difficulty and some of the extra story sequences. But regardless, it is still a fantastic port of a classic Final Fantasy title. Next up we have a game that I'm not sure if we can call it a JRPG or not, but I'm going to include it anyways, and that is Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. Now Freedom Unite was my first experience with Monster Hunter, and if I'm not mistaken, it was more or less like an expansion to Monster Hunter Freedom 2. Like many other Monster Hunter games, it had a very addictive gameplay loop where you go out on missions to hunt dangerous monsters and collect resources in order to craft items and gear. There are plenty of weapon types to play around with and they all work differently, giving you a lot of variety to your gameplay. I remember spending so many hours on this game, challenging fearsome monsters with friends, and it was overall a very addictive game, hence why I have this game on this list. At number 8 we have Ys 7. Now Ys 7 was the first Ys game that I ever played and I remember instantly falling in love with its action-based gameplay, so much so that I got into the Ys series because of it. Now Ys 7 is an action JRPG developed by Falcom and published by Exceed. It is the 7th main entry in the Ys series and it follows Adol's adventure through the continent of Africa. It was also the Ys game that introduced the party system where you can switch party members on the fly in order to perform different types of attacks, a system that is still being used in newer titles. I've said this before in previous videos, but I love the fast-paced combat system in all of the Ys games that I've played, including Ys 7, and like many other Nihon Falcom games, this game has a fantastic soundtrack. Overall a fun action JRPG that deserves more recognition. At number 7 we have Valkyrie Profile Lenneth. Now Valkyrie Profile Lenneth is a port of the original Valkyrie Profile that came out in 1999 for the PlayStation 1. Like many other people from the PAL region, this port was my first introduction to the Valkyrie Profile series. The game follows Lenneth, a Valkyrie who was sent to Midgard to recruit suitable warriors for their war against the Vanir and the upcoming Ragnarok. Now what I like about Valkyrie Profile is that it has a really fun, action-packed turn-based battle system. Each character is assigned to one of the 4 face buttons and they attack whenever the button is pressed, allowing you to perform some awesome looking combos. Besides combat, it also utilizes platform-like elements for exploration, and the story was very solid with multiple endings. Overall a fun and unique JRPG on the PSP. At number 6 we have Kingdom Hearts Breath by Sleep. Now for those that have followed this channel know that I really enjoy the Kingdom Hearts franchise, and Breath by Sleep is definitely up there as one of my favorite titles in the series. It is a sequel set 10 years before the events of Kingdom Hearts and it follows the journey of 3 Keyblade wielders known as Terra, Aqua and Ventus. What's unique about Breath by Sleep is that the game is divided into 3 different scenarios and each scenario follows the story of one of the 3 main characters. Even though it is a prequel, I do think you have to play the other Kingdom Hearts games in order to fully appreciate what Breath by Sleep has to offer. Kingdom Hearts is a franchise known for its convoluted story, and Birth by Sleep is no exception. But out of all of the handheld Kingdom Hearts games that are out there, I do think Birth by Sleep is the best. I love Kingdom Hearts' action-packed gameplay, and Birth by Sleep is no exception. Alright, next up we have Star Ocean Second Evolution. Now, Second Evolution is the second game in the Star Ocean franchise, and it is more or less like an enhanced port of the 1999 Star Ocean The Second Story. It features newly animated cutscenes, new voice actors, and additional story elements. Second Evolution follows Claude, a member of the Pan-Galactic Federation who is mysteriously teleported to an underdeveloped planet called Expel. There you'll meet Reina, a local from Expel, and you'll set off on an epic journey to investigate a mysterious meteorite called the Sorcery Globe. Now, what's interesting about this game is that you get the choice of playing the game through either Claude's or Reina's perspective. Second Evolution has a fantastic story with a great cast of characters, and that experience is also enhanced thanks to the private action system. It also has a fun and fast-paced combat system, and I can totally understand why many see this game as one of the best in the franchise. Next up on our list we have Persona 2 Innocent Sin. Now, Innocent Sin is the first game in the duology of Persona 2. It is a port of the original Persona 2 Innocent Sin that came out on the PS1. Innocent Sin takes place in a city called Sumaru City, and it follows Tetsuya and his friends who have to deal with popular rumors of all sorts becoming reality. And it is mainly due to a mysterious man called Joker, who has the ability to grant wishes. Now, the story of Innocent Sin is just absolutely bonkers and amazing at the same time, and I can totally understand why many consider this game, as well as its other half, Eternal Punishment, to be one of the best Persona games in terms of story. Although I do have to say that the gameplay can sometimes feel a bit outdated, which makes sense as it is a port of a game that came out in 1999. But if you can look past that, then you'll find a game that can go toe to toe with some of the modern Persona games out there. Hence why I have this game on this list. Alright, next up we have another Falcom title. This time it is The Legend of Hero Trails in the Sky. Now, Trails in the Sky is the first game in a ginormous series known as the Kiseki series, and when I say ginormous, I really mean that. The series consists of several games split into different story arcs within the same world, and Trails in the Sky is the first chapter in this overarching story. It follows Estelle and Joshua's journey through the Liberal Kingdom in hopes of finding their missing dad and becoming official bracers. Throughout your journey you will learn more about the kingdom and its politics. You will come across many notable characters with their own character arcs, and it is probably one of the best when it comes to world building. I don't think I've ever seen any JRPG series as ambitious when it comes to story and world building like the Kiseki series, hence why I have Trails in the Sky on this list. At number 2 we have Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII. That's right, another Final Fantasy title. This time it is the prequel to the cult classic Final Fantasy VII. Now, Crisis Core was part of the compilation of Final Fantasy VII meta series, an initiative meant to expand the world of Final Fantasy VII through games and other media. Crisis Core follows a young soldier named Zack Fair who is obsessed with becoming a hero. He is assigned to look for a missing soldier named Genesis, and throughout your journey you will learn the dark truth about the world of Final Fantasy VII. Now, Crisis Core is a fun action JRPG with a real-time battle system. Zack is the only playable character, and what's interesting about the combat system is that it uses a slot machine-like mechanic. It exists as a constantly rolling slot machine on the top left screen, and depending on the outcome it will reward you with buffs, limit breaks and level ups. I know it sounds weird having a slot machine mechanic in an action RPG, but it works somehow, and I had a blast playing Crisis Core. Overall, a fantastic prequel to one of the most beloved Final Fantasy title out there. At number 1 we have Persona 3 Portable. That's right, another Persona game, and this time it is the portable version of Persona 3. Now, Persona 3 Portable is not exactly your typical one-to-one port of Persona 3. First and foremost, Persona 3 Portable features a new playable female character with some added storylines and social links. although some revisions have been done in order to be optimized for the PSP, like for instance having the overworld navigation done via menus and point and click instead of directly controlling them in a 3D environment. Not only that, but the epilogue from FES or FES was also excluded due to limited storage space. But despite those shortcomings, it is still a fantastic JRPG. Persona 3 Portable was the Persona game that introduced the social simulation aspect, which has become a staple feature in the Persona franchise. I loved managing my day-to-day life, building relationships and fighting shadows at night. It is probably the game that I've spent most hours on, and there is just something special whenever you play a Persona game on a portable system. And there we go, 10 of my favorite JRPGs on the PSP. If you have other JRPGs you want to highlight, then let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching this video, consider subscribing if you're interested in gaming and JRPG related stuff. More videos are coming, so take care and I'll hopefully see you guys next time.